Well, let me just clarify, first of all, on the resource point. Today there are about almost 20 stock exchanges in Africa. 85% of the stocks that trade in Africa are non-commodities. They're not commodities. So that's rule number one, is we've got to get out of this mindset that Africa equals commodities, because that's a problem. There are technology stocks, there are banking stocks, insurance companies, retail goods companies. I mean, this is a fact. You can go and check. You don't have to rely on me. The second thing is when people say Africa is selling out, I'm not entirely clear what that means. Because on the one hand, as an African, my view is it is not only a desire, but it's the responsibility of the international community to allow Africa and Africans to be equal partners on the global stage. So, I've said to a number of people, if you say to me, listen, Dambisa, I'm sorry, but I think Africans should not have democracy and Africans should not have governments, their own governments, that's a different discussion. But if you're telling me that you think that Africans deserve to have democratic governments and deserve to have improvements in their economic situation, then it must be the case that we need to be able to trade. So I don't know what selling out means. We need to be part of the global economy. So in any other place in the world, you would find it objectionable that a country, a continent of the size of Africa, with 1 billion people, this is just about the size of India, close to the size of China, is less than 2% of world trade. It's less than 2% of foreign direct investment. Why do we find it objectionable? We find it objectionable because we don't have faith in the African leadership.
I would say we don't have faith in the Chinese leadership regarding...
No, we have faith in the Chinese. China is the largest lender to the United States. We believe me, we have faith in the Chinese leadership. We don't have faith in the African leadership. I mean, Americans are very happy to take Chinese money, as are Europeans. They don't have a problem with, they don't even have a problem with human rights when it's coming to take Chinese money. But somehow when the Chinese go to Africa or South America, we're up in arms. What about human rights? What about slavery? What about neocolonialism? We have a long list of concerns. That to me suggests that we're actually concerned about the quality of leadership in Africa, which is a valid concern. But then let's not just superficially have that discussion. Let's take it one step down. Why are we worried about the quality of leadership in Africa? We are worried about the quality of leadership in Africa because we know that the incentive structure currently, particularly the aid system, encourages and attracts people who don't have to do any work. They're not held in any way accountable to their people or to the international community as a whole for the delivery of improvements in the quality of life for their people. And therefore, we know exactly who we have in power in these places. And that's what we're worried about, because we know that those people, in many cases, not all cases, but in many cases, will be very happy to sell off their resources. Thankfully, because of the financial crisis and because obviously traditional donors are struggling, that is also now being challenged. We now have Africans being able to say, we're not going to tolerate this. We're not happy with the labor standards in our country. We're not happy with the terms of this deal. But that is so essential. It's at the heart of liberal democracy that we have to be able to hold our governments accountable. Not somebody else. We have to be able to do that.